how the heck do I start eating healthy, but that's not obsessive or restrictive, and something that I can do that's simple and easy and doesn't have to be so darn complicated? Well, that's what we're going to talk about on today's video. I am Teresa, registered dietitian, and I am all about helping women understand nutrition, help you have tools in your toolbox that you can use in your own personal journeys that can benefit you, your bodies, your hormones, and just to uncomplicate nutrition. So like I said, we're going to talk about how to start eating healthy. And it really doesn't have to be as complicated as it seems, guys. Like, it can be super simple, but there is a lot of information out there that you see these elaborate recipes, like you have to do 5 hours of meal prep like on the weekends or even like twice a week. You know, we can adapt a healthy lifestyle and learn how to nourish our bodies, fuel our lifestyles, to meet our energy demands, to just help us have this vibrant and high energetic life that we are striving for. But I do want to preface this video by saying that the definition of healthy is different for everybody, but I'm just going to share to you what my definition of healthy is, and if it resonates with you, great. If it doesn't, fine too. So basically, healthy to me means that there is no off-limit foods. That doesn't say like go out, eat all the foods, and you just will never have control of it. No, that's not what it means. It just means to really focus on tuning into your body, tuning into your hunger cues, tuning into that mindfulness, but also understanding that typically that are those wholesome, God's fuel, you know, earthly foods, you know what I mean? Like, wholesome foods make us feel better. And getting our proteins from quality animal proteins and switching it up, maybe some plant proteins in there, and just really coming down to focusing on those foods that nourish your body, your soul, your active lifestyles, your hormones, so that you can show up as like a better and more well-functioning woman. You can define healthy whatever you want it to be. That's just kind of my viewpoint, is that if you can have your cake and eat it too, literally, but then the next meal, you know, you turn around and you're like, oh, okay, I'm right back to just kind of focusing on foods that really truly make me feel good from the inside out. Some signs that you as a woman, if you are striving for that healthy lifestyle and striving to find something that works for you, pay attention to what your body is responding. How are your energy levels throughout the day? How is your quality of sleep? Do you have regular, healthy menstrual cycles? And also too, how's your mood throughout the day? Are you showing up with a clear mind? Are you responding to people in a kind of a more patient manner, not being really snappy with decisions or snappy with reactions? You know, all those things play a role. So, and many, many more. So pay attention to those cues to see, like, is the lifestyle I'm living serving my body to the best that it can? So with all that being said, let's hop into the video. First tip that I have, and this is super important, is to generally accept that a healthy, balanced meal does not have to be complicated. It does not have to be elaborate. We don't have to go and have these 12 ingredient recipes all the time for every meal. No, we can simplify that. And so that's what I'm gonna kind of go through in my next few tips of how we can uncomplicate the nutrition and get you on that healthy living to help you feel great. My second tip is to write down what a typical day of eating looks like for you right now. I want you to pay attention to, are you waking up in the morning? Are you just going for a cup of coffee, trying to make it to lunchtime, then having this salad, and then trying to make it to dinner and having like some vegetables with some chicken and I don't know, like something super bland? Is it that, or is it are we getting takeout, you know, 3 times a week? Are we having a lot of prepackaged foods that just we sit down and we tend to eat a lot of it and then we don't feel that great after? So pay attention to those things. Write down just kind of a typical day of eating. what's that looking like for you? And how are your energy levels? How is your sleep lately? How are your workouts? Do you show up to your workout alive and with energy? And are you recovering from your workouts great? Or are you sore for days on end? Are your periods normal? Is the way you're eating now serving a healthy menstrual cycle? And just paying attention to those things and writing them down. My third tip is to focus on building your meals according to macronutrients. Do you have those macronutrients on there? And some micronutrients sprinkled in there too. So if you haven't seen my previous video, go ahead and check that out. I talk about all the macronutrients and just kind of the basics there, just to help you understand what each macronutrient can bring and how it can serve your body, your hormones, and fuel you throughout the day. But essentially, when we're building our plate, we want to have, and visually seeing it, like I said, we're starting with the basics here. You're starting out trying to live a healthy lifestyle. It might be a huge transition from what you're already doing. So we're just going to focus on a basic plate. Visualize that. So I always start out, prioritize protein. We want to make sure that protein is on there. For those starting out in a health journey, we want to have a palm-sized portion of protein. So think about that. And then like the thickness of a deck of cards. That's what I always say. If that is on your plate, that's going to give you approximately 3 ounces of protein. And so that's 20 grams of protein right there. Everybody's needs are going to be different. So I won't be sharing any macronutrient specifics, but in general, start there, right? Start there. And so, okay, we have our protein on our plate. Okay, next we're going to think about how can I get some micronutrients in that can serve like my vitamins and mineral balances in my body. So use 2 fistfuls of vegetables on your plate. We can focus on that. Focus on adding that in. Choose from the rainbow. Just choose from the rainbow. And then in our carbohydrate portion, make about the size of a fist. That's going to give you about a cup of carbohydrate. And then put that on your plate too. So we have our protein, we have some nice greens and vegetables, and then we have our carbohydrates there. That's just like a basic kind of like layout of what the plate could look like. Don't get too caught up in numbers, guys. Just visualize it, try it, plate it, try it out. And then we need to add the fat. Add that in by adding avocado or doing olive oil, avocado oil, nuts and seeds like pumpkin seeds, doing some flax seeds sprinkled on there. You can even take like walnuts, crush that up on there too. Just being creative with it too. It doesn't have to be one or the other, just whatever you're really feeling there. Grass-fed butter is a great option too to add. This plate method can be very powerful to help you start out on that health journey of trying to just create balanced meals to balance your blood sugars. And for those ladies that are struggling with irregular periods, irregular menstrual cycles, we need to kind of shift that plate a little bit. So typically with hypothalamic amenorrhea, which is like the missing periods for 3 months or longer, typically it has to do with our lifestyle and our nutrition and underfueling and overdoing it on the exerting our energy. So we want to look at that plate by saying, okay, do I have my protein there? Yes, we need to prioritize protein always. But we kind of shrink that vegetable portion because we don't want to be so caught up in like volume all the time. We want to focus on nourishing our bodies with enough energy, right? So what has the most energy? Carbohydrates, protein, fats. Those are ones that are really going to serve your body well in this stage of trying to get your period regular again. So thinking about, shifting that quarter of the plate to more towards half the plate with carbs, and then doing like a nice generous portion of protein. And then you can sprinkle in some vegetables in there, but it might not be as voluminous as we're trying to get it a lot of the times. Now, I'm saying this by trying to help you out. By no means, again, does this mean like you have to do it this way, but this is so crucial for those that are struggling with an energy deficit and having irregular menstrual cycles. And then don't be afraid to add the fat. You guys, don't be afraid to add the avocado, the nut butter, the walnuts and pumpkin seeds and things like olive oil, things like that. And just use a generous portion, right? Don't get too caught up in the numbers again. We want to teach our bodies in a way to help respond to those meals we're eating in a much better manner over time. So when we have those balanced meals, we're focusing on spreading those meals out throughout the day. And again, the meal frequency and how many meals everyone has is different, and everybody's caloric needs are different. But making sure we're spacing those meals out throughout the day is going to be great for balanced blood sugars, keeping the nutrients coming in a cycle, digestion, all those things. And then for digestion, speaking of, is making sure we're drinking enough water. Have a water bottle. Get a cute water bottle. Make it your best friend. Be conscious about drinking water every day. That's a great way to start. My fourth tip here is to meal prep and batch prep ahead of time. And this does not have to mean 4 hours in the kitchen. If we're starting out, it's this. It's starting with, okay, I'm gonna meal prep 2 proteins this week. So what can that be? Okay, I'm gonna meal prep a bunch of chicken breasts. I'm gonna meal prep a bunch of ground turkey or ground beef and put that in the fridge for the week so I can just kind of portion it out as I go. For like the vegetables and stuff, you could do a huge sheet pan of roasted veggies, or you could get the steam bags, which I get. The frozen steam bags, time saver. Those are a great option to add those micronutrients in and some fiber and some vegetables and stuff. So again, eat the rainbow. Don't limit yourself. And for carbohydrates, maybe it's making different carbohydrates during the week. Making a bunch of roasted potatoes, batch prepping a bunch of quinoa, rice, beans, those types of carbohydrates, and putting them in the fridge and then divvying them out throughout the week. You get my concept here? You don't have to meal prep these elaborate 10 ingredient meals. It can be simple. Do I have my proteins batch for the week? My carbohydrates, my complex carbohydrates, some vegetables I can throw in there, fat sources to have on hand, have some avocado, maybe 1 to 2 avocados on hand, have some nut butter in the pantry, have olive oil in the cupboard too for cooking, and maybe adding a little drizzle, grass-fed butter, some mixed nuts, pumpkin seeds, flax seeds, chia seeds, those types of things that you can add onto your meal. Keep it simple. That's my biggest thing. Keep it simple and do not overcomplicate it. Because really, like, when we overcomplicate it, we're just not going to do it. And we're just not going to. And my fifth and final tip is to start small. So stick with me for a minute here. When we try to make elaborate changes from where we are right now to wanting to live this healthy, vibrant lifestyle, sometimes it's a big leap for some people. Sometimes for other people, it's just a few small tweaks and it's easier. But it's really just creating these very small goals for yourself and dedicating yourself to a long-term journey, and not just like an overnight fix, a 1 week fix, 1 month fix. It is a lifetime journey where you're going to evolve and adapt and add, try different things out, and you'll be like, oh, that works better for me, so I might stop what I was doing then and just shift to this new habit of mine that's making me feel so much better from the inside out. This could mean like small changes. What I'm saying here is, if you're drinking 1 bottle of water a day, start drinking 2 bottles of water a day. Don't try to go from 1 to 6, because what's more realistic? 1 to 2 or 1 to 6? You can answer that one. Okay, let's say you're eating about 50 grams of protein in a day. If your goal is to get to 100 grams of protein in a day, this is just random. Realistically speaking, going from 50 to 100, 1, it's going to be a little tough on your digestive system, and 2, 50 to 100, that's kind of some planning and mapping out. So we start by using our small step approach, building blocks here, people. We are starting with 50, and then, okay, we're going to try to eat 60 grams. So that's literally almost an extra ounce of protein, and that could be added to 1 meal. 50 to 60, not 50 to 100, and slowly work your way up week by week. Okay, you nailed that 60 grams of protein daily for this week. I'm feeling confident about 70. Maybe you jump to 80 at that point because you're like, oh, 60, no problem. I can add in an extra snack to get 20 grams of protein. That's how you do it. And then for like takeout, like if you're getting takeout 3 to 4 times a week, let's say you're like, oh, just too tired. This is where meal prep comes in. You have batch prepped a bunch of proteins, carbs, veggies, and just to throw together a good nourishing meal for yourself. And maybe that's take out 3 to 4 times a week to take out 2 to 3 times a week, and then 1 to 2 times a week, and then only for special occasions. You get my point here? It's just progress. You got to start with the one domino to let the other dominoes fall, you know? So that's kind of where I have on starting to tips. So that's what I have for tips to help you start eating healthy and eating in a manner that serves you and your body best. Remember, we want to pay attention to our body's cues, our energy levels, our menstrual regularity, and how our period lengths are. Super important, ladies. And then how are we showing up in our workouts? Quality of sleep. How are we responding to others? How do we show up as a person for other people? Are we this happy, vibrant, positive perspective kind of person, or are we kind of snappy? Start simple. Try these tips. I hope these help you with all my heart. I hope they help. Take what you need from this video and try to apply it to your life. And I wish you all the best. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. Cheers to happy hormones and happy health.